Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today in this session with VAR India and Microsoft. My name is Amit Pawar. I'm here as the Director of Modern Workplace Education for Microsoft Asia, covering the region between New Zealand and India. It is my great pleasure to be with you here to talk a little bit about the approach Microsoft is taking towards hybrid teaching and learning, and then talk a little bit about the solutions that we are excited to bring to market, specifically to help you as our valued resellers to enable you to go and have a very meaningful conversation with our customers together with our OEM partners and device partners. So thank you again for joining me. So my name is Amit, and let's get on with this session. I look forward to all of your questions and answers later on as well. So with that in mind, I'm just going to take a minute to give you a bit of an overview of what Microsoft talks about when it comes to the hybrid teaching and learning conversation. A lot of the times when we go in and talk to our customers, we are going to talk specifically about the device. But before we talk about the device, they need to understand how the device fits into the overall solution. And I'll take 2 minutes to kind of give you a bit of an update on that. So on this slide, you'll see three pillars. Three pillars. Number one, it's talking to the guidance we provide. So guidance from a way of how do you actually go and do a digital transformation of education. Number two, what you're seeing in the middle is we are giving you a future-proof IT platform that is built on the foundation of trust and security that enables the way that you want to teach and learn, that is inclusive by design, that fosters well-being, that accelerates learning, that helps us develop career readiness. Because all this investment that schools and ministries of education or higher education institutions are making in the technology is there to create some kind of an outcome. And that outcome typically is the career readiness. So everyone wants to make sure that our students are learning effectively, are able to grasp all the concepts, are able to get the grades they need, and hence create skills within themselves to make themselves career ready, whether they go on to a professional employment or become entrepreneurs of themselves. And to enable this, you will see various Microsoft logos on this slide. You'll see Microsoft Azure as the underlying cloud that enables you to create solutions, GitHub to enable the development of applications, Power Platform that enables this whole concept of applications that are low code, no code. You'll see LinkedIn coming in here to manage your professional identity, and Dynamics 365 to enable the orchestration or the operations of the school. And finally, and the one that we are going to talk a little bit more about today is Microsoft 365, which is what enables the engagement and collaboration. So a lot of times when we are talking about the cloud that is connecting your device, that enables you to create documents, that enables you to communicate with others, it is Microsoft 365 that we are talking about. And the last pillar on this particular slide is the Microsoft Educator Center and Microsoft Learn. That is actually professional development for our educators and teachers to take advantage of all of this technology that we talked about, all of this guidance that we talked about. They need to learn how to use all this technology in the context of teaching and learning. A lot of times we go and talk to them about, hey, how do I use PowerPoint? How do I use Word? And that's okay. That is one product training. But using all those products in the context of teaching and learning has its own specific needs. And that's what we are trying to address through our free on-demand platform of courses and learning paths, and that gives them the ability to get badges and certificates to actually go and showcase how much they have learned about using technology to deliver hybrid teaching and learning. So that's kind of the underlying thought process behind how we are approaching this. And let's have a quick look at how this is then coming together. So we talked a little bit about, in the previous slide, we talked about future-proof IT that is built on trust and security. But really what we want to do here is enable all of these different experiences. So we want immersive learning experiences to enforce collaboration. Now, to do all of this, you need to have the right device. We need to create a social skills, create positive learning environment. Again, safe, secure, well-managed environments that have the security from the silicon to the cloud is important. And now that we start using the device, we will also start to see a feedback. I think about this as, the device that you sell to education institution is a bit like a fitness tracker, where what the fitness tracker measures different things like heartbeat and temperature and sleep patterns, but you can't actually visualize that unless you put it into the cloud and see all the graphs and all of the different information that comes out of the device. Similarly, we are also looking at creating the Windows 11, Windows 11 SE devices as a enabler for us to interact with the cloud and measure the actions that we take on our device and relate those actions and activities to our learning outcomes, which usually is grades and things like that. Now, all of this means that we can accelerate learning, right? And also from the teacher perspective, it gives them insights with actionable intelligence. So how can the teacher better interact with the actual students? Because a lot of times now students are either remote or even when they are in class, there are just too many students. And for a teacher to be able to give one-on-one personalized attention to a student is not really possible. And that's why we are using artificial intelligence to help teachers gain insights into how individual students are actually doing and what additional help they may need for particular subjects and things like that. We're also providing certification pathways for employability. So developing career readiness is another aspect of this. And all of our curriculum that we provide on Microsoft Learn is industry aligned. And lastly, we talked a little bit about this earlier, which is inclusive by design. So we'll make sure, and I'll show this in the demo later on, is we'll talk about the concept of being able to accommodate diverse learning styles. Because when we are positioning a device that is a content creation device, and fundamentally Windows 11 and 11 Pro and 11 SE devices are designed to be content creation devices. It's a big difference from having small screen phones or tablets that are primarily content consumption devices. Because when we are trying to teach and learn, we cannot just be having a one-way conversation with the content being consumed, but the content needs to be consumed, analyzed, and then the student needs to show their understanding by creating content on that device. And a lot of the focus that you will see in our conversation around devices is focused around that. And finally, like I said, we need to also meet requirements of people with different abilities. So those who have hearing disabilities or visual disabilities and other learning styles that we need to accommodate are taken care of from the platform by design. So it's not something that is a after the fact add-on, but something that is built right in. So let's have a quick look at this. And we use this concept of hybrid teaching and learning solution, which is cloud ready, but not cloud dependent. Now, what does that mean? A lot of times during the pandemic, a lot of our customers went out to market and looked at devices and solutions, and they tried to glue them together to create something that was cloud ready. But it was, a lot of the cases they have chosen, one solution from one vendor and another solution from another, and they've created a lot of silos, and each of them have different capabilities in terms of their ability to run online and offline. Our focus really has been to make sure that the device can run both when it's connected to the internet, as well as a lot of the scenarios can be catered for by using the device offline as well. And I'll show you that in the next few builds in this slide. So first of all, we do talk about the concept of looking at the right device. The right device in this context will be something that is powered by either Windows 11 Pro or Windows 11 SE. Now, some of you may have heard about Windows 11 SE from our recent announcement. What I want to be very clear with you is there are two, separate operating systems. Windows 11 Pro has been built on top of the Windows 10 Pro capabilities and the foundations that have been built for the last few years. Windows 11 SE is a new edition of Windows that has been specifically designed for cloud managed solutions for K-8 range of schools. So kindergarten through year 8 is where we typically are seeing use of this platform, and it's been designed with that in mind. So it does run on low-end devices. So up to 8 gigs of RAM and up to 128 gigs of SSD is what Windows 11 SE will go up to. If a customer needs other capabilities beyond what 11 SE provides, we do guide them to move towards the 11 Pro operating system and devices that are built using the Windows 11 Pro operating system as well. And later on, you will see we will provide you guidance on how that differentiation can happen and where would you choose 11 Pro versus 11 SE. There is deep dive guidance on that. But in today's session, because it's only 20 minutes, I'm not going to go through all the details on this particular topic. And of course, because we're talking about the cloud ready piece of this, we want to make sure that the operating system is made available to you at the lowest price possible using Shape the Future program. And then the device itself is managed using Intune, which is our MDM solution. So it creates that cloud ready, cloud managed experience, yet be able to run offline as well. And how do we do that? We look at the current LMS or SIS that the customer has. We take their user database from that. Then we will create them digital identities in the cloud. So now they can log in onto the device using a cloud identity, which is safe, secure, managed. And once we have the digital identity, using Office 365, we will enable free Exchange online email, free storage online, as well as a SharePoint online for collaboration. And of course, whatever has a star next to this in this particular diagram does have licensing implications. But everything else that doesn't have a star is actually available for you for free. The other thing is then we can introduce the concept of having different experiences on these foundational services. So what I've said till now is we'll look at the device, integrate it into your existing LMS or SIS to get the user database. We'll create the digital identity. Once we have the digital identity, we enable all of these services. And once we enable these services, you can then start taking advantage of the cloud-ready Office applications, Teams applications, as you and I are now joining on a Teams call to record this meeting, as well as being able to communicate with each other, collaborate with each other using the Teams platform. It also enables things like class management, being able to do assignments, and being able to grade students and so on and so forth. There's a lot built into the Teams platform. Again, I won't go into the detail of that today. We have the Edge browser built right into the operating system with Windows 11 and 11 SE. So those days of having to download a browser from third party are gone, because now we're building Edge on the Chromium engine, which allows us to have compatibility with existing extensions for other browsers like Google Chrome. We've also created solutions that are specific for education that allows us to create class notebooks. This allows us to take content online as well as offline. We can synchronize the data and the course materials, worksheets, quizzes, and other things offline. The students can work on it, and then when they connect back, the content will be synchronized. I'll show you a quick demo of that as well later on. Then we have capabilities like Whiteboard that are available within Teams as well as an independent application. But uniquely on Microsoft's platform, we have this very immersive game. Most of you may be familiar, because I'm sure some child in your family or in your friend circle has been playing Minecraft, and it's a great way to engage students in a meaningful way. And by the way, we do have an education edition of Minecraft, which is a license that can be made available to our end customers. So again, wherever you see this star, you should start thinking about how we can monetize this platform and the device together, so that we can give customer the value they need in enabling a hybrid teaching and learning environment. Of course, we will provide the teachers professional development that they need through our Microsoft Learn platform. So that is key to this whole, enabling our educators to know how to use these devices and the platform. And lastly, we do provide the insights and analytics that customers need. Remember, I said earlier, buying the device is like buying a fitness tracker. Unless we are able to see the insights that are generated using visualization tools like Power BI or through Teams Insights app, we don't really know how effective the use of this device is. So I really encourage you to see how this relates together, and there are many demos available already on that as well. So with that, I'm going to stop presenting here and then jump to a quick demo of how Windows 11 SE looks like and some of the capabilities that it brings to bear in this whole solution as well. Let me stop presenting. I'll present my screen and we will get to the demo. So here I have the login screen for 11 SE. You will actually see that it presents a very easy, very user-friendly login capability for the user. What we are able to see here is that we have streamlined 11 SE to make sure that it is user-friendly, but also enables a very easy way for the students to navigate the operating system. So the start menu has been redesigned. We've made it easy for you to find all of your education-specific applications. For example, Edge browser, Teams, Word, Excel, PowerPoint are already pre-built into Windows 11 SE. You no longer have to download and install the applications from the internet or using other deployment methods. So it has been streamlined to make sure that when you get the device, it's ready to go and is usable with all of the most requested applications for education. So it becomes very easy for you to start taking advantage of that. What I want to quickly demonstrate to you, however, in this particular demo is the accessibility capabilities of 11 SE. What you'll see here, for example, is that we have reimagined how settings are for all of Windows 11 and in Windows 11 SE. So it's easy for you to see the settings categories on the left, and you'll see detail items that are under each category on the right-hand side. So at no point are you lost within the actual settings menu. So in this particular demo, I'm just going to show you how we can modify things like color filters for people who need different colors on screen because they have color blindness or need the colors to be adjusted so that they can see it easily. So you'll see different ways of actually navigating windows will change depending on their color preference, whether they need more of a red-green filter or red, blue-yellow filter or grayscale filter, depending on their requirements. So just giving you a bit of a view on how things are progressing in that regards. You'll also notice that we are able to then do things like also accommodate for hearing capabilities. Like some people need to have mono audio, or they may want to have flashing screens during audio notifications. And so on and so forth. So there are ways that we are accommodating with 11 SE the requirements for people with different learning requirements. The browser, for example, has also been reimagined. As I said before, this has been done with the Chromium browser engine behind this. So all the speed, the performance that customers have typically gone to a third-party browser like Google Chrome is no longer needed because all of the capabilities of the Chrome browser continue to evolve as the Chromium engine evolves. And we also support all the Chrome extensions within Microsoft Edge Chromium. What I want to demonstrate here as well is then we've got accessibility features like magnifier, because in some cases, we do need to provide the ability for you to magnify the actual content. Being able to go in and be able to look at, a run-up application, and the application I'm showing you right now is Microsoft Teams. So you'll see here, we've got the ability to kind of connect with people. We can have conversations with people. We can obviously run meetings online with Teams. So here's an example where we're going to run a meeting where we're going to join our class. We can obviously enable computer audio for this. We can choose how it's going to actually, which particular devices on your device is being used for the speaker and mic. Then we can enable our camera. We can enable settings like noise suppression, because in a lot of cases, when you're learning from home, there is a lot of background noise with construction happening or road noise or otherwise. And being able to suppress that is really handy. Then we have the ability to also join in, be able to obviously see each other and interact with each other visually, or be able to also look at things like follow along. So for people who are not able to follow along from an audio video perspective, can also turn on live captions. Or if you are somebody who's not able to follow along in English very effectively, they can use live captions to actually see what's been said. So using artificial intelligence, the cloud will actually transcribe what's going on. And then, of course, you're able to then, connect with each other, chat with each other. But we are also enabling things like, integration of apps. So we can create things like praises, where if you want to say, hey, look, you've done really well, Fatima, you're doing really well here, you know, for all of your bravery or whatever. It gives a little bit of encouragement to our students. And this is another way of creating that interaction, creating that motivation for them to continue to engage with each other through this online platform. So this is an example of how Teams is actually evolving. Once you're done with the call, obviously you can leave, but there is a further conversations that can be had, because we can then look at work that is assigned to somebody. So for example, we do have the capability of providing assignments. We can see all of our assignments that have been given to us as a student. We can see the particular assignments by class. For example, we can see fluency check here. The work here is for you to actually read a piece of work. So they're going to have to read something. So this is a new capability that has been added into Teams called reading progress. So now the student is expected to read a piece of work. So in this case, they would have to read what all the words that are on this screen. They can adjust the size of all of this text using what is called the immersive reader. We can obviously adjust the colors, themes, the font, and other spacing and other requirements for different people with different reading and learning experiences. So just a quick demo of how the application and the operating system come together. So now we can say, hey, that once I've read something, I can use this as a recording, and I can turn that recording in as an assignment. So as soon as they've turned it in, they get a bit of encouragement for doing well. Now we'll actually see, for example, how the teacher will see this, or a maths example here. Here you're seeing the ability for multiple people to contribute and integrate and collaborate with each other on a platform, and also be able to comment and communicate with each other and say, hey, you know what, do you have any colored markers we can use for this? The answer is yes. We're going to say, okay, once we've done that, it's resolved the task. So there's a lot of communication that happens within the platform. And what you'll notice here is that Word has started within Teams, which means that they didn't have to leave Teams to get distracted by something else. And we have now also created the ability for you to create a team group assignments. So in the past, only individual assignments have been done. Now we are enabling group assignments as well. So we'll see another example here where what you'll also notice in 11SE, whenever application starts, it starts in full screen, because we want to reduce the distraction for kids with multiple things on the screen. So one of the things that we've done is made sure that the application start up in full screen. But when necessary, we can actually do multitasking by having two applications side by side. So here in this case, I'm going to take PowerPoint and move it to the left-hand side, and then I can look at the content from the NASA website in this example by snapping the Edge browser on the other side. So this is something that has been often asked for by a lot of content creation experiences, because now we are going to refer something on the site here and then create content in the application on the left. You'll also notice that, of course, everything within this application will work as expected from a browser perspective. But we're also creating new experiences for you to go in and be able to do additional research based on what's been. So for example, if you highlight this text and we want to see this content to be read in a more effective way, because it may be difficult for some students to read this content when it's on the screen in the site. So we have created what is called a immersive reader within the browser itself. So when I do that, it takes away all the distraction and only lets the student focus on the content. So they can then use things like line focus to really focus in on the line by line. So they can either do it by one line, three lines, or multiple lines. We also include what is called a picture dictionary. So in this example, if I click on the word laboratory, you'll actually see what the meaning of the word laboratory is in a visual form. So the pictorial will actually help you understand the benefits of the actual words that are there on the screen. So these are just some examples of how we are bringing together the value of the operating system and the learning experiences that customers are expecting from us. What you'll also notice is that we are actually now offline in this particular demo. So remember what I said earlier, we are cloud ready, but not cloud dependent. So they can continue working on this file regardless of whether they have internet or not. Once they're done and once they're back online, you'll notice it's gone online and we've got the Wi-Fi signal. You'll also notice, and let me get rid of this Teams. Yeah, you'll see that when it's actually connected back on the internet, we have also saved the changes to this document. So any additions we've made to this document will be reflected in the document as well. Let's go back to Teams. We can now, because the group has collaborated on this particular document, they can now turn it in for the group. And that's been done. Let's have a quick other example of Minecraft, because a lot of times when we talk about installing Windows 11 SE, it is done on a low-end device, typically with 464. But what you'll also notice is that it enables immersive experiences like Minecraft Education Edition in a very fluid manner. So we'll go in and open up a particular, and what you'll notice is Minecraft Education Edition has different challenges and curriculum built right into it. So you can use it for science, maths, computer science, equity, inclusion, history, social emotional learning, and so on and so forth. In this example, let's go into social emotional learning, the mindful night. It will create the world. And even on a low-end device, you will actually see a very fluid experience on this particular 3D game, which is Minecraft Education Edition. The other example I want to also highlight with 11 SE is the built-in security that's been made available, right? A lot of times we get into this situation where we need to visit sites, and we don't know whether those sites are actually trustworthy or not. We do have a Defender smart screen that enables you to look at the content of the site before the user goes to that site. So in this case, we are saying Microsoft recommends you do not continue with this site. It has been reported to Microsoft containing phishing threats which may try to steal personal or financial information. And if they choose to ignore it, they can, but we strongly recommend that they don't, because it's also giving a lot of warnings on the particular page as well. And you'll notice that all of this security is built right in. So gone are the days where you had to buy third-party security and capabilities that enable you to make sure that the device was secure. It is now built right into it with Windows Security. The other thing, let's have a quick look at the Reflect app. One of the other aspects of what's happened during the pandemic is we haven't been able to follow along the social emotional learning needs of students. So what we've now done is we've built in this app called Reflect. Reflect really starts to think about how they felt about the last assignment, whether they were happy or not really feeling good about it or upset about it. So they're able to see that, and they can also express themselves a little bit more in detail. I mean, how did this assignment make you feel? In this case, if you felt energized, then they get rewarded with a little bit of a fun character, which is the emotion monster that really showcases how they're doing this. But not while it seems like a fun experience for the students, it also gives our educators insight into how students are learning on a day-to-day basis. And over time, we can see trends in the class, And what we've noticed is a lot of the students who have access to this kind of tool really are opening up because they feel comfortable having to open up to a solution like this, where it's done in a fun way rather than having a serious conversation with an adult or an educator or with their parents. So this seems to get a lot more acceptance with our students as well. So with that, I just want to conclude to say thank you for joining us today in this session to really give you a bit of an overview of what we are doing here with Windows 11, Windows 11 SE. And like I said to you before, it is a new Windows that has been built for the new era of digital classrooms to broaden access to tech, maximize budgets, because we know that is a big stretch for many customers given the pandemic means there is a lot more demand on investment in the digital realm. We want to make sure that the learning happens no matter the location. I showed you a very quick demo of being cloud ready but not cloud dependent. We're making sure that the technology doesn't come in the way of your deployment and management and security. So as much as possible with Windows 11 SE and Windows 11 Pro, we are making that journey a lot better, a lot simpler, and easier for our end user. Thank you very much, War India, for inviting me to kind of spend this time with our community and really give you a bit of an overview on what's going on in the world of Windows 11 as it comes to the concept of hybrid teaching and learning.